When you're at a party, sometimes it helps to have some trivia ready to go in your back pocket. From the dog who saved the World Cup to a coffee house for spies, and, in the words of Dante from Devil May Cry 3, I can already tell. Looks like this is going to be one hell of a party. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 cool party facts. 25. You could fit Stone Age Central Europe on a cruise ship. Back in Stone Age times, populations were a fair bit smaller. Research from 2019 carried out by University of Cologne scientists Isabel Schmidt and Andreas Zimmermann revealed that Central Europe may have had approximately 1,500 people living there. That sounds positively skimpy compared to today. Putting this figure into context, the Icon of the Sea cruise ship carries a record-breaking 7,600 passengers on one voyage. 24. How old is Dr. Pepper? Dr. Pepper is a heavy hitter on the refreshment scene. The drink dates back to 1885, and thirsty customers of one Wade Morrison. His Old Corner drugstore helped put Waco, Texas on the map. Along with rolls for hot dogs and cones for ice cream, Dr. Pepper wowed crowds at the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904. Once tasted, never forgotten, the beverage took its name from associate Dr. Charles Pepper. Yes, there was an actual Dr. Pepper. I myself knew of a Dr. Pepper in real life. Turns out he was not that great a person, though. He got his doctorate, and he was just Pepper. I'm not going to reveal his first name, but his last name was Pepper, and he got his doctorate while I knew him, and he became Dr. Pepper. 23. Vanilla is actually an orchid. We think of vanilla as a tasty treat, so it's easy to forget that the stuff comes from plants, specifically the orchid. Which is strange because we think of an orchid as a pretty flower, not a dessert. One example is vanilla pannifolia, which produces fruit that needs to be steamed and fermented. Also, you can actually eat orchid petals because they're a generally edible plant. 22. Oatmeal is ancient. I see you're sticking to the healthy snacks there. Oatmeal? That stuff's pretty old. How old is it? Around 30,000 years, at least. What's more, the grains were used for something not dissimilar to porridge. It took a fair while longer for oatmeal to catch on here in the US, however, because it spent a long time as farmyard food for animals. Us humans began enjoying it from the 20th century onwards. 21. X-rated. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's also not unusual to be invited to a party by text. Many of these texts have X at the end of the message, meaning, of course, a kiss. But when did that whole business start? Would you believe the late 18th century? Gilbert White wrote a letter in 1763 which concluded with not just one, but 7 X's. Speaking to the Washington Post, Duke University's Stephen Goranson believes White's message is misunderstood, pointing instead to a letter by none other than Winston Churchill for a true example of historic kissy-kissy from a century or so later. 20. Super Bowl rings. Put down those onion rings and let me tell you about something way cooler. I think our writer wrote this when he was hungry. Did you know that Super Bowl champs get their very own ring? These gold and jewel-encrusted luxury items are awarded to the higher-ups as well as the coaches and players who triumph at the legendary game. The rings are specifically designed for the winning team, and of course I personally think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl 55 rings are the greatest ones ever, but I might be a little biased. Speaking to CBS News, ex-official Scott Green revealed that he owned 3. That is a whole lot of bling. Although Tom Brady owns 7, which is more than double that. And I know the Buccaneers, not only did the coaches and the players do it, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers awarded it to the anyone involved on the Bucs. So like writers and training people, and like from top to bottom, everyone got a ring. It's cool. 19. Everyone used to be called a girl. Did you know the word boy only became popular in the early 15th century? Before then, it was girls all the way. You see, girl meant child, so really anyone could be described as a girl. The evidence is there in the works such as the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, written a century or so earlier. 18. Check out this actor's precuneus. Or not. Really, you don't have any choice if you're watching a play, show, or movie. A precuneus is the part of the brain that helps someone perceive what's going on around them. Actors reportedly rely on their precuneus to focus their attention on the role they're portraying. It apparently enables them to stay in character whilst also being aware of themselves as a performer. It's also staggering information to learn that some actors have brains. Oh, wow, shots fired. 17. The turquoise arches. The glowing yellow arches of McDonald's are sure to make your stomach rumble. I think our writer is absolutely hungry, though they aren't always yellow. Travel to Arizona, specifically Sedona in the Verde Valley area, and you'll find turquoise is the color that activates those hunger pangs. Why are McDonald's arches a different color here? Because authorities don't want business signs to distract attention too much from the surrounding landscape. These rocky wonders shouldn't take a backseat to a Big Mac, no matter how tasty it may look. 16. Keeping your balls cool. Turns out it isn't just the players who need to stay in prime condition for tennis. Their balls have to be looked after too. One way of doing this is by storing them in the refrigerator. Cool balls last longer. Who knew? The rubber is better preserved, though research also showed that a ball will bounce higher if placed in an oven. This is due to the heat lightening the air molecules. 15. Pickles was on the ball. You probably know that England won the World Cup in 1966. I mean, who the hell doesn't? But have you heard of Pickles? This black and white mixed breed collie dog tracked down the iconic trophy after it was snatched from a London stamp exhibition of all places. The initial ransom plot was foiled by police, who retrieved a detachable part of the trophy. The remainder was later discovered thanks to Pickles, who was scampering around by the car where the remainder of the trophy was stashed. His owner spotted it, and the rest is football history. Or soccer history if you're in America. 14. Full moon fact. It's associated with crazy behavior, but did you know our lunar satellite affects people in the run-up to a full moon? A study from 2021 appeared to show that people went to bed later and got less sleep overall when the event was near. This could happen up to 5 days before the full moon. Amazingly, the person's environment didn't seem to have an effect. Whether you were in a remote setting or a well-lit one, the moon still exerted a powerful hold on your sleep pattern. 13. A bite of the Big Apple. Living in a city that never sleeps means you're never short of places to eat. So, no wonder a study was conducted working out how long it would take to eat at all the restaurants in New York. The legwork was done by wine platform VinePair, who used info from the Open Table reservation system comprising over 8,000 establishments in the Big Apple. So, how long would it take? 22.7 years. You're gonna need a doggy bag. 12. Do you want nitrogen with your chips? No? Well, that's a shame, because you're gonna get it anyway. Authorities state that nitrogen gas is used to take the oxygen out of the bag. Oxygen plus chips inevitably leads to spoilage. By injecting the gas repeatedly into the packet, you reportedly get a fresher product. It also helps puff up the bag, so if the snack gets dropped, there's a little bit of protection. 11. Sarcasm is nastier than you think. In fact, the word sarcasm is partly derived from the Greek sarkazin. The English translation of this from hundreds of years ago was to tear flesh, and the description has been compared to an animal attack. Something to think about the next time someone makes a savage remark to you at a party. 10. Sloths. Humankind has eaten some weird things over the centuries, but sloths? I mean, meat is meat, I guess. However, we certainly don't think of these creatures as food. Mind you, this was thousands of years ago when the not-so-humble sloth was jumbo-sized. 27,000-year-old fossils from South America revealed that the giant sloth wound up on the prehistoric dinner menu before jewelry was fashioned from its bones. 9. CIA Starbucks. Secret agents need their coffee, just like everyone else. That's why the CIA has its very own branch of Starbucks at their Langley headquarters. 9 people work at this unique location, which is reportedly very busy. Are customers' names written on the cups? Absolutely not. The only beans that get spilled here are coffee beans. This place puts the no in cappuccino. Oh, God. I apologize for all of that. Oh, no. Cappuccino. 8. Police clone dog. Our next story isn't some high-concept TV show. It's a real thing. In 2019, it was reported that China had actually cloned a crime-busting Kunming wolf dog named Hua Huangma. So now there's a puppy named Kung Shun following in its doggy footsteps. This move is designed to potentially reduce the time it takes to train police dogs. 7. The 14-hour TV ad. Ad breaks seem like they go on forever. but could you sit through a 14-hour epic? This production for Old Spice broke the world record in 2018 and was shown in Brazil. Terry Crews featured in the posterior numbing promo, which, safe to say, was probably a little repetitive. There's also a 3-minute preview in case it doesn't take you over a day to grasp the concept of grooming products. 6. Dogs find the north-south axis convenient. While it appears that your dog pees and poops mindlessly, the truth is actually surprisingly technical. A scientific study uncovered the eye-opening link between canines and the Earth's magnetic field. This field impacts on their doggy-do decision-making process, with the animal positioning its body along a north-south axis. Essentially, a dog will go to the toilet between the north and south poles. Isn't that right? Give me kisses. Stop looking at the tennis ball. Give me kisses. Stop it. 5. The astronaut allergic to moondust. Imagine going through intensive training as an astronaut, only to find out you're allergic to moondust. This was the sad reality for spaceman Harrison Schmitt. He learned about this reaction the hard way, taking part in the Apollo 17 mission from 1972. Schmitt suffered from irritated eyes and throat, plus his sinuses were congested. He wasn't alone. Research was conducted into the impact of moondust on human lungs. The results don't appear to be conclusive, meaning astronauts must take even greater care when journeying among the stars. As if they don't already. 4. Music may change the taste of cheese. Back in 2018, the extraordinarily named Beat Wampfler of Switzerland decided to see what effect music had on the classic dairy product. Can you believe that Beat Wampfler isn't actually a musician, but a veterinarian/cheesemaker? He introduced his product to the likes of Led Zeppelin, dubbing it Sonic Cheese. Assisted by the Bern University of Arts, it was concluded that cheese develops a stronger taste in these conditions, especially if Mozart is playing. 3. There's a museum of failure. I've heard of learning from your mistakes, but this takes it to a whole new level. This traveling collection of supposedly underwhelming items features Oreos flavored with limeade, an exercise device called the hula chair, and last but not least, Colgate lasagna. The viral foodstuff, an Italian ready meal released by a toothpaste company, is so incredible that people believe it was made up. 2. Just how old are songs? Nothing gets the party going like music. But when was the very first song heard by human ears? They don't come much older than Hurrian hymn number 6 from the 14th century. The Hurrian people lived in an area called the ancient Near East, which is compared to today's Middle East. As you can imagine, the lyrics weren't scrawled on a piece of paper, but instead on a clay tablet. These were discovered in what became Syria. 1. MySpace didn't want Facebook. We nearly saw the most iconic merger of online entities in history back in 2005. If you're a little too young to remember MySpace, then you might be confused. Just know it was big enough for Mark Zuckerberg to want to sell his Facebook brand to and make a cool $75 million. It was actually one of 2 attempts. By 2008, the popularity of MySpace waned and Facebook got bigger and bigger. So I'm guessing Zuckerberg's grapes weren't too sour. So, what's your go-to party fact? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, click that notification bell, and check out our social medias, including my personal ones, links in that description. And if you enjoyed this list, you do not want to miss 25 fun facts that are really fun to tell. Trust me, they were, because I did this. So, click here. Facts are great. More, you can only use these at the party. You don't have to just use these 25. You're allowed to use these at parties too, I promise. So, click it.